guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video, and finally we're getting legendary villain buffs. Very, very uncommon. This is going to be our 55% video. You guys know I do the same structure for these videos always. We're going to do the 55% video. My first time using the characters, so we're going to be using LR Fusion ZAMASU with no equipment on him, and it's going to be at Link level 1. Now, sort of like this world tour format I do does work very well. I feel like it allows me to get like a good amount of videos out in a good amount of time, which I think is very important, right? But there is an issue, and that's for Big Bad Bosses characters. Keep in mind that Big Bad Bosses is so far and away the best Link in the game that on characters that have Big Bad Bosses, if you're not Link level 10, you're not seeing the true performance of the character, unfortunately. It's just how it is, right? Big Bad Bosses is the best Link in the game. So it's just a thing where you need to get at Link level 10. That's why, you know, certainly I understand players who don't want to Link level all day, stuff like that. Totally makes sense to me. But if you are going to Link level any characters, I mean, I guess more if you're a villain fan, you do need to get your Big Bad Bosses characters Link leveled for sure. Funny enough, Fusion ZAMASU has the worst Dokkan event they've ever dropped. I do not think it was a good idea to make Infinite ZAMASU immortal for 3 turns, but I mean, hey, maybe that's just me. I would probably say that was not a great idea. Now, Fusion ZAMASU is introducing a brand new mechanic into the game, and that is the Dokkan Field or Dokkan Domain. In Japanese, it is Dokkan Field, and of course here, on global, it is Domain, is what we've got right here. I mean, it is cool. I think that this new mechanic is fine. For ZAMASU himself, there's a couple of ways to talk about this, right? ZAMASU's transform state when the domain is active is very good, Infinite ZAMASU. But ZAMASU's domain effect itself is not something we can really take advantage of too much. What this does is this causes superclass enemies and superclass allies to take 30% more damage, right? Which, I mean, that's great, but it allows... It does limit our team building quite significantly, right? Because if we're going to bring, you know, Fuse Fighter characters, which are part of Fusion ZAMASU's leader skill, those boys are going to get cooked with an extra 30% damage added to them. That is really tough. So at the moment, as powerful as this ability could be, if, you know, like, if for some reason the Dismal Future Red Zone has like a Vegito Blue fight, like ZAMASU will be cooking. Right, because it's like, you run a full villain team and you have this active, you are going to obliterate super class enemies, but it's just not really like a thing I think we're going to be taking advantage of at the moment. Also, again, remember, ZAMASU is a villain who wants to run a full villain team. A bit of an issue with that, if you guys catch my drift. Almost as though fumbling every villain is a big deal. And then ZAMASU's banner unit is just... dreadful, abysmal, god-awful, the ZAMASU, the physical ZAMASU, who is nigh unrunnable. Against a superclass enemy, we could run physical ZAMASU, but again, all of the relevant fights are not against superclass enemies, so. Let me level up ZAMASU. We're going to go into an event. Again, we're going to be rocking a full extreme class team. Otherwise, his domain will hurt us. Hopefully the next domain that comes out is something that we can get a little bit more effect out of. Remember, there's 2 things we're talking about. When I'm talking about the domain, I'm not specifically talking about his Infinite ZAMASU transformation, which is super good, but more so the actual field effect itself, right? Which is that superclass enemies and allies take 30% more damage. So, all right, let me level him up and let's hop in. Alright, so LR Fusion ZAMASU. I do have to say his intro is it's just a little short, right? So there's 2 issues I have with Fusion ZAMASU's intro. I think both intros, Vegito Blue and ZAMASU's, feel a bit subpar to me, and I consider intros my favorite animation. I think it's too far zoomed out on ZAMASU. I would really like if it was a little bit closer, a little bit tighter on him. I think it just starts too far out. And it's a little too short. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's they're just moving super fast, but like that scene in the anime, like Zamasu is not like spitting his lines out fast. Like he's gesturing, he's talking slow, and then finally Vegito just tags him, right? Like, okay, but I mean that's really, I mean, pretty much my only issue with this character, I think, is just going to be that I don't like his intro animation. Zamasu to me, whereas I think the Goku and Vegeta portion of the character have heavy flaws, Zamasu to me seems like he's going to be pretty good. Our defense is quite low here. I mean, remember, at 55% Link level 1, I mean, we're just going to be a massively sort of like debuffed version of what we possibly could be, right? So, all right, let's go ahead and get this. All right, so Zamasu's leader skill is Realm of Gods, Worldwide Chaos, and Fuse Fighter 3 key and 170% of stats. The extra 200% is for Time Traveler and Final Trump card. And then finally, he gives Extreme Class allies the 3 key and 150% that aren't on one of the leader skills, right? Which is nice. There is a character in particular I could think of that we could get on the team very easily, and that's Chilai, right? So we have Chilai for villains, and we have LR Bulma for the superclass characters, which is really good. Chilai brings everything to the table that is potentially needed for some of these villains. The only thing Chilai could have that would make her better is if she was a big bad boss's character, right? Like, if she was actually sharing, like, some of those uber powerful links with some of these villains, that would help out. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff Fusion's Zamasu. Actually, let's look at the Friend. The Friend is 55% as well. Do they have equips? They do have some equips. They've got a level 7 defense. I do think that Zamasu is a character that could benefit from raw defense because he's going to be working with so much damage reduction. Raw defense can be good on a character that has either a ton of damage reduction or guard or something like that. Alright, so let's take a look here. So, Zamasu's intro, he gets 20% damage reduction for 4 turns, and then he gets another 20% damage reduction for his first turn. If there's a Realm of Gods category ally on the team. He gets 6 key, 100% attack and defense at the start of turn. 3 key, 50% attack and defense if there's no Realm of Gods enemy, which there wasn't. He has a high chance to crit as well. And baseline 40% damage reduction. So turn 1, Zamasu has 80% damage reduction. Turn 2, Zamasu has 60% damage reduction. And then the rest of the fight, he has 40. So that's really good. It's super good. I mean, I don't know that once the first 2 turns are up, 40% damage reduction is certainly strong, but it's probably not at the level where we're just safely rocking this boy in slot 1, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I don't think so. You know, this is the thing, a lot of people just don't get it, but like, especially against some of these newer bosses, I'm gonna just turn the intros off. Especially against some of these newer bosses, it's like, you know, 50% damage reduction is great if you have 800k defense, right? Like, it's like, I'm sorry, guys. It's not just, oh my god, we have damage reduction, it's so good. Like, no. You need to be pounding their ass, you know, and letting their defense get very, very high first. So that is going to be very crucial. We have STR Rose here. Man, this is trash. Maybe somehow Majunior would not kill. Maybe there's some conceivable, because I'm bringing STR Rose here. STR Rose, unfortunately, is mid. Here's the issue for Fusion Zamasu is not himself. I think they cooked with Fusion Zamasu. If anything, the flaws in the characters is in the Vegito portion of the Vegito character. I think Zamasu is fine, and I mean, going into the celebration, I would have said, like, they could mess up Vegito a little bit. We'll be okay. But Zamasu, like, they cannot mess him up. And I don't think they did. I mean, this is a character at 55% Link level 1. I mean, yeah, we would be running into some issues for sure. Right? Like, this 153k defense is not quite going to cut it. But once he's Rainbow Link level 10, this guy could be a very dominant villain character. Like, he's going to be very effective. So then Zamasu gets 50% defense when receiving an attack. And if HP 70% or less when receiving an attack, he gets another 50% defense. That's fine, but that mechanic, again, I really would like another... Let's hope that there is a Part 2 villain LR. I mean, I'm going to assume it's dual Carnival. Hopefully, like, Rose is one of them, and he's a very powerful, like defense slash support unit, I think would be awesome. That would help this guy out a lot, because at the start of the fight, like against First Form Cell or like the Rose Red Zone fight, ZAMASU absolutely could go turn 1 with the 80% and the 60% damage reduction. That's really good. But it's like, you know, beyond that, you're gonna potentially want ZAMASU super attacking first, right? His super attack effects real quick. He's getting 50% attack and defense on his 12 key, and then greatly lowers enemy defense. And then he gets 100% attack on his 18 key, 30% defense on his 18 key, mega colossal damage, and then greatly lowers enemy attack. I mean, yeah, the 100% attack is awesome. I would much rather, I would take 50% attack and 50% defense over 100% attack and 30% defense. I mean, that's just me. I mean, you guys know the way, like, all these characters, the point where they become frauds is when defensively they get weak, right? We're never looking at a character and going, man, you know, I know they could tank every hit in the game, but that damage is pretty low. Like, no one says that. What makes you a fraud is when you die, when you get killed in shame by these bosses. So I'm always looking at like the defensive tools a character has. ZAMASU to me seems balanced very well though. He should be high damage and at the start high defense, and then he gets good defense. Like to me, very acceptable defense on this level of character after a couple of turns. And of course, we haven't even talked about the Master Chef Infinite ZAMASU. We'll get, once we get there, when we get there, right? All right, so ZAMASU, the other thing he has is that he gets an additional that has a high chance of being a super within the same turn after receiving an attack. So, you know, we're going to get that right here. And then finally, he gets 25% attack with every attack received, up to a max of 150%. Now, I'm unsure what I want to do with ZAMASU's build. I am very tempted to go full dodge, right? Because this is a character where he's already going to do enough damage. He already has 50% chance to crit built in. He does have an additional built in, but I mean, I don't know how often I'm actually going to be rocking this guy in slot 1 after his initial like passives and stuff like that are gone. I'm unsure, right? So I was heavily thinking about dodge, but the Infinite ZAMASU form is very powerful, and if I give him full dodge, it's going to have 0 value in the Infinite ZAMASU form. So I am beginning to lean away, actually, from giving Fusion ZAMASU full dodge. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think additionals could be very good. If I'm going to rock this character in slot 2, he gets an additional. I mean, that's 50% defense he's getting on a 12-key additional super, right? He doesn't need crits at all. I mean, in Infinite ZAMASU form, sure, but I don't... I feel like I'm probably going to go additional number... Like, I might aim for ZAMASU, maybe like 25 additional and like 10 dodge or something like that. Now, I know ZAMASU does get damage from being hit, and like people will see, oh my god, like dodge will keep you from building up. I mean, that doesn't... bro, like you're still going to take hits, but that 10 dodge I've found to be great on Gamma 1, TEQ Carnival Goku, characters like that, who kind of have to like build up a little bit. I've never regretted it. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do with ZAMASU. Maybe aim for like a 25 additional 10 dodge or so. Now, crits, yeah, I mean, crits will allow him to do a lot of damage. They would be pretty effective, I think, for Infinite ZAMASU. That's where crits can come in handy. Because Infinite ZAMASU, I mean, we'll get to him once we get to him. By the way, ZAMASU has the same transformation condition that what's-his-name has. The other guy, Vegito. They have the same transformation condition. So that means it needs to be ZAMASU's 3rd turn. So, because it's under 70% HP starting from the 5th turn from the start of turn. So it's ZAMASU's 3rd rotation, essentially, right? Like, ZAMASU shows up, like, after ZAMASU's 1st turn, 5 turns from then. So, slot 7 is potentially really bad. And then if there's a Future Saga ally or Future Saga enemy, it's the 7th turn. But again, slot 7 with this character or Vegito is almost like a death sentence. It's really bad. Because it's like you're not transforming until turn 9 or something like that. It's that the major issue with I guess the one major issue I could say with ZAMASU would absolutely be his transformation condition. That's kind of like the one thing I don't like. I don't like the conditions on these characters. It's like, especially once you start stacking multiple conditions, you lose consistency. It's very easy to say, well, you're always below 70% HP. Yeah, you are, until you aren't. And then what if you just aren't? And then you can't transform. That's kind of an issue. Now, for Fusion Zamasu, it's not really so bad because his base is way stronger. But for the Vegito unit, again, that's not going to be good. But, you know, it's not just under 70% HP. It's also got to be his 5th turn or later, right? And then it's also not the 7th turn. It has to be a Future Saga ally or a Future Saga enemy, right? Like, it's just not good. And the problem for Zamasu, again, remember, we need to run Zamasu. No, we're looking for this team right here. We need to run Zamasu with a full villain team, which means, you know, we need a future ally here. It's like the shitty physical Zamasu who sucks cock, into LR Fusion Zamasu who doesn't help Fusion Zamasu at all. Unfortunately, into LR Fusion Zamasu was a worthless, wasted release who sucks ass because they decided they could have easily made this new Zamasu have a different name. There's, yeah, I get every Fusion Zamasu has just been Fusion Zamasu. I don't care. They could have just given him a different name. Especially, he has a new mechanic, the Dokkan Field, the Infinite Zamasu shit. Like, they easily could have given him a different name. That is just masterclass clown bullshit. This unit, like, if this guy was actually able to be used, it would help LR Fusion Zamasu out so much. And the reason that's going to be a bit of a concern is because eventually, I mean, I think a lot of times I'm not going to be so satisfied with LR Fusion Zamasu in slot 1 after, you know, the initial couple of turns of damage reduction wear off. And then we're left with the Final Form Cooler problem of LR Final Form Cooler was so dominant, so good, but you're always running them in slot 2. So you can't run another Final Form Cooler because then you're going to get 0 links, right? Like, we could run, like, you could run 3 base Gokus because a lot of the base Gokus could go in slot 1. So you could have a base Goku in slot 1 and a base Goku in slot 3, and they could actually have links activated. I think on many situations with Fusion Zamasu, we're probably gonna want to run them in slot 2, and then that would mean into LR Fusion Zamasu is completely cucked, right? And it's like, you know, one of the most important characters, this guy, they completely fumbled. They made him ass, right? Which is really stupid. Because this guy, if this guy was a dominant force, that would help us out a lot as well. Right, so Zamasu's main problems, his main issues, more so than anything, I would say, are going to be team issues, right? Just like every villain. Now, we do have 2 major EZAs coming up only in a handful of days here. AGL Zamasu and Tech Trunks are going to be getting their EZAs. AGL Zamasu, I mean, it's very scary because they cannot fumble him, they cannot fumble him, they cannot fumble him, they cannot fumble him. He actually does have to be good. He does have to be good. So, you know, no pressure, Dokkan. Please don't fumble for us. Now, the good thing is that Piccolo Jr. is on this team, and Piccolo Jr. does have access to the 200% leader skill as well. I mean, I've seen some people talking that Piccolo Jr. is better than Fusion Zamasu. I would probably say no on that, but I mean, it's way too early for me to say, right? Unlike a lot of people, I mean, who are just like rushing to be like, all right, here's the top 10 LRs. I want to get several days of using them in tons of tough events and stuff like that. Really think about it and then kind of rank it. I would assume that I'm going to have Fusion Zamasu above Piccolo Jr. Although I don't typically rank, like, you know, like, I'm not like, all right, let's get these LRs. Actually, let's put Fusion Zamasu on someone. Let's get these LRs ranked against these TURs. For the most part, it's pointless, right? Like, I rank the same type of character by the same type of character. All right, we do have, so some of these, like, cells and stuff like that might be able to work effectively, right? Like, we could probably try AGL Cell on here. We could try Imperfect Cell. You know, I think, like, Super Boo could be effective. Maybe we could try EZA Buhan, right? Like, these types of characters can be utilized in here. On this sort of, like, Worldwide Chaos type team. I've been telling people for a while now that Worldwide Chaos is actually pretty effective. Remember, we do have the tech androids on the team as well, so let's say we're going to do the Fusion Zamasu showcase against First Form Cell, or against Rose Goku Black or something like that. We are going to have access to the androids Ghost Usher, which is going to be very good for one of those fights, right? No way in hell am I bringing the androids into Omega, but against Rose or First Form Cell, yeah. That's why it's really good that Dokkan gives us these different structured, difficult fights. because then it's like, yeah, the TEQ androids can be great against First Form Cell, but they're going to suck ass against Omega, right? That type of thing. All right, so we have reached it. We can do the domain expansion. I feel like there's no reason not to just do this. We'll just do the domain right here. So a couple of things happen once we actually do this domain expansion and transform. So number one, it'll create a Dokkan field, or you know, the Dokkan domain, which will increase damage received by superclass enemies and allies by 30%. That's going to be active the entire time this is up. Now, ZAMASU will do this sort of Dokkan field transformation. It lasts for 5 turns. In the 5 turns, he does also give extreme class allies 3 ki during the entire time. So those are essentially the 2 effects present. Superclass enemies and allies are taking 30% extra damage, and then extreme class allies are getting 3 ki for basically the 5 turns, which is quite good. You know, I hopefully, like, the October LR is going to be another villain. Hopefully, again, like, you know, presumably like Carnival Rosé or something like that is going to be really busted. Remember, you can run any villain team on Fusion ZAMASU's team. So if the villain is made good enough, we will be able to run them with ZAMASU. So they did set us up a little bit for villains, but they've got to keep going. All right, let's go ahead and pop this Dokkan domain here. Awesome! That's sick. This is fun. I do like this already. The ability to just create a field like this to me is really cool, right? Like, I like this a lot. And this can get a little bit of, like, freshness of having, like, these different battlefields and stuff like that. Alright, so now we have Infinite ZAMASU out right here. So the number one thing... Oh, this is so good. We've got a Scouter right there. Oh my god. Yeah, Chilai is such a potent combo with Infinite ZAMASU, right? Because Chilai gives us the Scouter, and then Infinite ZAMASU nullifies all attacks aimed at him. All attacks are nullified. All attack. He cannot be hit. He can't be. Oh, actually, that's a very unfortunate super attack placement for Rosé. Okay, we're gonna have to do this. Yeah, I can't put Rosé right there. Rosé will get one shot. Rosé's not good enough for that. Okay, so we're gonna have to... I mean, we could still see him nullify the super attack. That's fine. That's kind of unfortunate, though. Damn. Actually, I mean, very fast we run into villain issues, right? Like, Chilai could get tossed up right here, but I mean, we have to trust Chilai. Chilai has to work. Okay. So, ZAMASU nullifies all attacks aimed at him. He gets 4 ki, 300% attack. Changes AGL and STR key spheres to TEQ key spheres. Worldwide Chaos category allies get 60% defense with 4 TEQ key spheres. His links do not change. I believe they're all exactly the same. And then his 12 key super attack gets him 50% attack. And then his 18 key super attack gets him 100% attack. And it's an AoE. So that does look pretty good. This transformation is very, very powerful, right? Like, no doubt about that. Now, here's where dodge and raw defense aren't really that great for Fusion ZAMASU, is because, I mean, a lot of this guy being crazy... Nice, Chilai. Okay, cool. A lot of this guy being crazy is this form right here. In this form, this Infinite ZAMASU form, you're only going to be able to take advantage from raw attack, additionals, crits, and super attack boost, right? Equips are basically all that you're looking for. 7.7 right here. Again, remember, he gets 100% attack right here. So yeah, it's very good. So we have the huge defense. Again, he cannot be hit, so he nullifies every single attack, which is just so crazy. I think if you like this Infinite ZAMASU, when you start talking about characters, like, okay, like the top class of character, I do think both Vegito and ZAMASU are in there because they have the capability of doing this, which is like these ultra special abilities which have, like, unique properties, right? Like, Bulma kind of has some multiple turn support, which is just so dominant. Orange Piccolo has his Orange Piccolo transformation, right? Like, the 8th anniversary LRs have their standby Spirit Bomb, like, you know, abilities, which are so good. You have Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, where, you know, his Full Power Super Saiyan 4 and Transform Vegito Blue are both super busted very similarly, right? And then, you know, you also have the Oob transformation for Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Like, the way this Infinite Zamasu is structured, it's definitely, to me, in that same sort of class. And Vegito Blue, maybe not as much, but he is just so dominantly overwhelming, Transform Vegito Blue, that he is going to be cooking. Okay, so at this point... Alright, Super Boo. Thanks, buddy. Oh, my God. Okay, dude. Alright, sure. Yeah, villains, brother. That's how it goes, unfortunately. Remember, a lot of the villains, it's... The thing you have to understand is, like, you know, Boo at sort of, like, max potential is fantastic, of course. You know, the cells that could be at, like, max potential and stuff like that. But remember, when we're running a team like this, where it's like, all right, let's throw in LR Cell on there. Let's get EGL Super Boo on there. You're probably not going to have them with, like, all of their big, powerful links up at all times. So it just creates an issue like that, right? And Super Boo, unfortunately, only has a 70% chance to guard. And then it's just bad. Now, Boo having a chance to guard is just flat out bad with no other way to say it. Like, 23rd World Tournament Goku's chance to guard is not bad. It's balanced. There's a difference. This guy's, Super Boo, it's just bad. It's just outright bad. Okay. I was curious. Yeah. Let me see that. So, we do not, like the giant transformation does not, like, forcibly take us out of the Dokkan, domain or anything like that. Okay, cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this. Zamasu's defense isn't really that high, so we're not going to heal up as much as I would like right there. He is going to get the Dokkan attack, which is going to be good. Now, remember how this cell works? This cell works basically exactly the same every single time, always, which is he always super attacks right away. That's very beneficial against Infinite Zamasu, who cannot be hurt. So, thanks, buddy. Thanks, pal. Alright, let's hit this. Sure. Awesome. I don't know if we will kill right here. We could easily die. I mean, Chilai, I think, needs to dodge both attacks, or else we get cooked. Super Boo put us in a bad place. I mean, it would be poetic justice to die using the villain team. It would just make, so much sense, right? Like, yeah, that's what happens when you run villains. You die in shame. You die miserably. At least we got this guy, right? This guy's on the teams. That's good. He's super effective in all types, so... Yeah, he cooks. That's a powerful combo. Alright, so this is going to take us against STR Perfect Cell. We'll finish this run out. I feel like we have sort of seen everything we needed to see from Zamasu, right? Like, I'm not like, like we missed out on this point or anything like that. Like, I feel like we kind of saw what we needed to see. Well, I mean, this is unfortunate here. This is where 55% Fusion Zamasu is going to hurt us. I mean, obvious. If Cell supers right away, we're cooked. If Rose gets supered, we're cooked. We're probably just going to die on this turn, and there's not really too much we can do, because I don't know where Cell is supering. Rose sucks ass. Fusion Zamasu could probably live, but hopefully the first attack's not super. It's not. Okay. Because, again, remember, Zamasu, with the first hit, he's getting defense, which is pretty big. That, you know, that does help us quite a bit. Okay. Let's see if Rose does get turned into a silly putty right here. No! Okay, going against Fusion Zamasu. This is good. So we supered, so we got the extra defense. We have the 40% damage reduction. We got hit. 130. 55%. So that's 55% Link level 1, like, big bad bosses and stuff like that. Yeah. Fusion Zamasu, like, slot 2, because that was, like, you know, essentially like a slot 2, like, spot for a super attack type thing. Fusion Zamasu in slot 2, to me, is looking like he's going to be really effective. Really effective. Really, really effective. So that is super good for us. Alright, we're still... do we have one more turn of Infinite Zamasu? I think this next turn is going to be our last turn of Infinite Zamasu, I believe. Yeah, okay, right here. Yep, so we're still good. We're actually not able to... get all the tech key that we want. Okay, so I'm just going to put Super Boo in slot 1 then. Super Boo, by the way, definitely able to take advantage of that key passive of Infinite Zamasu. Yeah, you know what's interesting is even the bottom of the screen is kind of... Yeah, that's good. I do like this. I like this Dokkan domain, Dokkan field. This is really good. This is really, really, really good. I'm liking this quite a bit. Okay. Yeah, this does make, like... Okay, what if we get, like, a hit with a domain, right? What if we get a blue Gogeta who, you know, shatters the dimensions, and then we go into a domain? Right? A Boo that eats you and you go into his body for a domain. There's actually some really, I think, interesting ideas. I think that this domain is actually kind of an interesting thing. Yeah, super him, jackass. What are you doing, you clown? Yeah, okay, pretty good. Fusion Zamasu is fun. This is how you make a villain. Thank God. I think they really nailed Fusion Zamasu. I think they did. They did. Alright, guys. This is Infinite Sanctuary Fusion Zamasu. His leader skill is Realm of Gods, Worldwide Chaos, or Fuse Fighter, category key 3 and 170% of stats. Him having Fuse Fighters is mostly pointless because of his domain. I mean, I personally would be a little bit fearful of running a lot of the fusion characters because of the domain. I mean, I don't... Could I get away with just running Vegito Blue on his team? Maybe. I don't know. It would have to be a character like that. It's just 30% extra damage while that is up is going to be tough. I guess maybe that is the point, is that we could get Vegito Blue on the team. I mean, he'll take the 30% extra damage, but he's so powerful when transformed. Maybe he could get away with it, but man, I don't know. It's tough. So Fuse Fighters feels pretty worthless on this character. Then he gives the extra 30% of stats to Time Traveler or Final Trump Card category characters. And then finally, he gives Extreme Class Key 3 and 150% to villain characters who aren't on any of those other categories, which is good. His 12 key super attack is True Test of a God, which gives him 50% attack and defense for 1 turn, colossal damage to the enemy, and then greatly lowers enemy defense. His 18 key super attack is the Divine Hammer, which gives him 100% attack and 30% defense for 1 turn, mega colossal damage to the enemy, and then greatly lowers enemy attack, lowering attack, useful. I don't think that this character will struggle with key so much, so him having attack lowering on 18 keys, not an issue, really. His passive skill, Zamasu shall rule all. So he gets his intro, once only, and 20% damage reduction for 4 turns, and then 20% damage reductions for the first, 20% damage reduction for the first turn, if there's another Realm of Gods category ally on the team at the start of his turn. So it only needs to be another Realm of Gods character on the team. That heavily implies using another Zamasu character, which, okay. I mean, just LR Fusion Zamasu and Friend Fusion Zamasu is going to trigger that, though, so that's good. But, hopefully one of these other Goku Black Earth Zamasu characters could actually be runnable. That'd be nice. Fusion Zamasu gets 6 key and 100% attack and defense at the start of turn. He gets 3 key and extra 50% attack and defense if there's no Realm of Gods category enemies, which is an interesting ability, because the Vegito character gets buffs if there is Realm of Gods. Zamasu gets it when there isn't Realm of Gods. Obviously, it's, I would say, significantly better right now if there isn't Realm of Gods, but to be fair, I do anticipate that Infinite Zamasu is going to become the hardest fight in the game, so we'll see. Then Zamasu has a high chance to crit and 40% damage reduction baseline. Very good. So Zamasu's first turn, he has 80% damage reduction. His second turn, he has 60% damage reduction. And then for the rest of the fight, he has 40% damage reduction. It's pretty strong. Then Zamasu gets 50% defense when he gets hit. And then he gets another 50% defense when he gets hit if HP is under 70%. That is just for that turn, of course. Then he launches an additional that has a high chance to be a super within the same turn after receiving an attack. So that could be effective against AoE bosses, or of course if you're running him in slot 1. And then finally, Zamasu gets 25% attack, with each attack received up to a max of 150%. I really do not enjoy having characters get hit for that type of build-up. At the very least, it's only attack, though, so a lot of times, I'll live without that. Like, I will never feel pressured to have to go get just extra attack. Right, if there's defense on top of that, oof, okay. So there's that. ZAMASU has his active skill, Omnipresence. So he creates the domain or Dokkan field, Infinite ZAMASU. He raises Extreme Class Allies Ki by 3, becomes Omnipresent for 5 turns. And then, of course, remember, he also has the Dokkan field effect on that as well, where he will raise Superclass enemies and allies damage by 30%, right? And then this is the same condition as Vegito Blue, which is when HP 70% or less from the 5th turn, or if there's a Future Saga category ally or enemy at the time, and it's the 7th turn. A very bad condition. Again, I see people talking about this, but when you stack multiple conditions on top of each other, it sucks. That's it. That's it. Multiple conditions, it's ass. End of story. His links, pretty good. Big Bad Bosses, Dismal Future, Godly Power, Fuse Fighter, Nightmare, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. 12 key multiplier, actually 160%, pretty good. 24 key multiplier is 200%, so we will certainly take that. Alright, so ZAMASU, of course, is a buff to many teams. You know what really would have, gone crazy? If ZAMASU had led Power of Wishes instead of Fuse Fighter, it would have been nuts. Because LR Bulma is so busted. I mean, me personally, I would not be scared of running LR Bulma with the extra 30% damage taken because of the domain effect. So, like, we could run a team where we have Bulma floating and Chi-Lai floating, and then just the powerful Big Bad Bosses characters. That would have been nuts, right? Like, if we had Power Wishes there, that would have been so crazy. So, alright, ZAMASU's categories here. He has Realm of Gods, which needs significant help, unfortunately. The other thing, ZAMASU being a Realm of Gods leader does kind of suck balls, because, again, you are more so gearing towards bringing villain characters with him. But, I mean, he's just another leader for the team, right? Then ZAMASU leads Worldwide Chaos. Worldwide Chaos has the potential to be a very crazy team. We could easily get a Kid Buu. We could easily get more Goku Blacks. A lot of these Majin Buus, Demon King Piccolo. Worldwide Chaos has incredible potential. Incredible potential. Then we have the Fuse Fighter category team that Fusion ZAMASU's, of course, on. Do love this team. All these different Fusion characters is great. ZAMASU is also over here on the Time Traveler category team, which is a lot stronger. Still waiting for Time Traveler to get a 200% leader, too. This is going to be a really good team once we get one. Then ZAMASU is also over here on the Final Trump Card category team. You know, pretty strong team. A lot of good options there. ZAMASU is also on Potara. Potara is going to be quite a bit better now with these 3 options. I mean, physical ZAMASU is not really that great, but he's certainly going to be better than a lot of these lower-level characters that are on Potara, right? That's for sure. ZAMASU is also on the Future Saga category team. Sure. Then ZAMASU's on Exploding Rage as well. Another very strong addition to Exploding Rage. Exploding Rage has gotten some really good characters. Then ZAMASU is also on the Battle of Fate category right here. Another very strong category. Lovely. And then finally, Power of Wishes. Oh, Mai is on Power of Wishes, huh? Interesting, Mai. Okay. This is a strong category. Power of Wishes, man. This is really good. And Bulma existing on this team, you guys know, leading up to ZAMASU's release, I was pleading that he led this category, and it's because of Bulma. Bulma, her impact is just universal. Bulma is a villain buff. Bulma is a buff to the team without a leader skill. I mean, she's just the best. She's still the best character in the game. Fusion ZAMASU and Vegito Blue are both very good, but they're not beating Bulma. No way, I don't think so. Okay, so there's Fusion ZAMASU. Again, remember, we have our Dokkan Domain or our Dokkan Field, which, when we transform, will be activated. This causes Superclass enemies and Superclass allies to take an extra 30% damage, which is why I do find myself very, very hesitant to run Superclass characters. And this is why I do think that Fuse Fighters is mostly worthless on this guy because of that. Because I don't want to run all the Gogetas and Vegetos and shit like that on this team. when they're just going to get 30% extra damage, which is, you're going to feel it. It's not going to be insignificant. It's going to be a huge, like, if we get a really strong superclass fight, you're going to feel that damage on the boss from this guy, for sure. Okay, so super attack changes, passive changes, but like links and stuff like that do not change. So again, this becomes Infinite ZAMASU. His 12-key super attack is the Light of Doom, which raises attack by 50% and does colossal damage to the enemy. His 18-key super attack is ZAMASU's Justice and Order, which raises attack by 100%, does mega colossal damage to all enemies. It's an AoE. The AoE is not a negative or anything bad. It's honestly only just going to be helpful for this character to have it. I don't think it really makes a huge difference either way, but it is certainly useful, right? His passive skill is a universe named ZAMASU. He nullifies all attacks aimed at him. It's just so very good. Nullifying all attacks is just legendary, man. We love that so much. So he nullifies all attacks aimed at him. Then he gets 4-key and 300% attack at the start of turn. Then he changes AGL and STR key spheres to TEQ key spheres. Then he gives Worldwide Chaos category allies 60% defense with 4 or more TEQ key spheres. So remember, that is up. And then you could almost just sort of add the 3-key to extreme class allies. Right, remember, which is up the entire time his domain is up. And then, of course, there's also the extra damage against superclass allies and enemies. So there we go. There is LR Infinite ZAMASU, LR Fusion ZAMASU. Very strong character. I don't really have many complaints. I think maybe just making the transformation condition a little bit better is really the only thing with this character. I don't, like... he could be a little bit stronger defensively, but, like, am I saying, oh, they should change this or it should be like this? No, I think he's fine. I think it's only the transformation condition is really the only concern for ZAMASU here, which is good. It is good to say that. That villain, I mean, listen, I'm a huge Vegito dick rider, of course. I could live with Vegito being a fumble or a semi-fumble or something if they nail ZAMASU, which they did. But ZAMASU himself is not enough. He needs help, so hopefully he will get it. Let me know what you guys think of LR Fusion ZAMASU, Infinite ZAMASU, but I would say big W for villain fans. Big W.